Welcome back, class. In this section, we are going to discuss ethnicity and immigration. Ethnicity, a lot of people have issues with understanding what ethnicity is. And so we're going to go over what is the definition of ethnicity according to your book. Ethnicity is a part of culture, so it's a dimension of culture, and ethnicity is encompasses cultural heritage, your nationality, so what nation you live in, your race, your religion, and your language. So all of that encompasses ethnicity. In the United States, we actually have an increase of ethnic minorities because of the high rates of immigration. And so you have to understand what immigration is. Immigrant families are defined, according to your book, is that at least one family is born outside the country of residence. So in the United States, if you have parents or you have caregivers, then that means that if one of those parent or caregivers is born outside the United States, but the family lives here now with the children and the caregivers, that means that they would be considered an immigrant family. There's also something called a 1.5 generation, which is where you're kind of stuck in between. So you may have been born in another country, but now everyone lives here. So kind of again stuck in between. And then you have mixed status family where you may have one parent or one caregiver that is undocumented, and then you have a child that is a US citizen. Something that happens when families immigrate is that there can be language barriers, and brokering actually assists with language barriers. In brokering, family members act as a translator for the person in the family that does not speak the dominant language. So if you are from a Latin country and you move to the United States, you may not understand English, and so but your child may understand English, so the child acts as a translator for their parent, so that they go to the doctor's office, or they may have to go to the bank, or the parents may have to go to the grocery store. They'll take the child with them and have the child act as a translator, and that is what is considered brokering. And there's actually a video here that you all can watch on your own time where this young lady talks about how she brokers in her family, when they have to go out in public, how she acts as a broker for the family. There are various immigration models. The first immigration model we're going to talk about is the immigrant risk model. This is where researchers believe that youth or children of immigrants have a lower level of well-being and are at risk for more problems. On the flip side, we also have the immigrant paradox model, where youth show a high level of well-being and fewer problems compared to native-born youth. So there's a conflict. Some people believe, and research also supports that some children of immigrants have a lower level of well-being and have more problems. But there's also a research to support the immigrant paradox model that says that youth that are children of immigrants actually have high levels of well-being and fewer problems than native-born youth. Despite having obstacles such as cultural and socioeconomic and language obstacles, their youth still show a high level of well-being and fewer problems than native-born Americans. And in fact, we have Cynthia Garcia Call and Amy Caravan Marks that really focuses on the immigrant paradox in children and adolescents. And what they actually study is children or youth that are in the United States that are children of immigrants. They study children that still embrace their culture, the culture of their family, and when they still have a really good embrace on their family culture, that they have a higher level of well-being. And that's what researchers are studying in this immigrant paradox. Although immigrants, according to the immigrant paradox model, can do very well in the United States, there are some stressors that are experienced by many immigrants. We talked about language barriers when we talked about language brokering. There can also be a change in socioeconomic status, and when people go to a new country, they may actually go down in their socioeconomic status compared to the socioeconomic status that they had attained in their home country. It also can be a struggle for immigrants to preserve their cultural identity while also trying to acculturate or hold on to their own identity while embracing parts of this new culture that is in this new country that they are in. It can also be difficult for immigrants to find programs that are culturally sensitive. And so we have something called the bicultural orientation, which is where parents of immigrants or parents that are immigrants pick and choose, and also their children too, they pick and choose which characteristics of the United States culture is going to help, or whatever their home country is, that culture is going to help them to survive and advance, but they also still retain aspects of their own culture of origin. Parents that are immigrants parents that are immigrants and have children that are born in a different country, since the family moved to another country, parents usually focus on promoting children's ethnic pride and making sure that they are aware of various biases and discriminations that they can face in this new country. But it's important for parents to make sure that their children take pride in their culture and have knowledge of their ethnic group, because that preservation of identity is going to allow the child to be resilient. Okay, that's it for the immigration and the immigration section of this lecture for culture and diversity. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss technology and how that has influenced children's well-being.